What up, bitches and cunt bags over here in the world of the internet? Through the power of the internet, Boogie2988 here, and I am with two
Oh my god.
fabulous young people here. Who are you guys?
I am Raven's Dolphin. Hello everyone. We watched the movie.
Parma, and this movie is not good.
No,
All right. It kind of started off a little promising.
it started off promising, but I feel like it was just a land of
When it got
confusion.
started, which took forever to actually get started because we had to have so much. That's all right. So I guess we'll keep things general in the beginning, like usual.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
this movie it went back and forth between new direction and fan service, and neither were done particularly well.
No. A lot of fan service. They really want you to know The Shining. You can't go in this blind at all. You're going to get fucked.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I should be who they're marketing to because I love The Shining. The Stanley Kubrick, blatantly clear, not the Stephen King book, not the Stephen King miniseries, because there's a big difference between the two. The Stanley Kubrick movie, I fucking love. After watching that, I tried the Stephen King book and the miniseries, and I thought they were corny as shit. And I like other Stephen King things, like Shawshank Redemption is an amazing movie, amazing story, but that's not horror, and that's not what The Shining was for me. And so I'm just letting you know, like, I fucking love Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, and this was not that.
Yeah,
Nope.
same here. Like, I seen that movie. I saw the movie like a week ago because, that's when DSP uploaded Doctor Sleep. So I'm like, oh, I guess I better watch the Shining movie. And here we are with Doctor Sleep. So the Act 1 was a little slow. Then they picked up in Act 2. And I'm like, okay, the scary parts are happening and all that shit. Then the movie just completely falls apart. It just gets really corny. I want to wait for Phil to spoil it, then we'll give our thoughts on the spoilers. But
Sure.
like Act 2 was pretty decent. It had some creepy moments in it, but it just got corny after the creepy moments.
Mm-hmm.
And the characters, especially the characters, the antagonist characters, those made that made the movie like really really corny. Like I just wish it just stuck with Ghost, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. It's like I said, supernatural thriller, like kind of suspense story involving ghosts. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't even know if this is really horror because nothing really scary happens. It's just
There's scary things, just really bad ways of scaring
jump
you.
scares. Okay, there's jump scares. Yeah,
there
sure.
are jump scares. Raven got scared pretty good. I think we both did at the same time.
Like, it was loud and you didn't see it coming. You're like, what the fuck? What the hell?
So, if you guys were to rate it, what would you give it?
1 star.
Ooh, we got the first 1 star. Parma?
Yeah. For me, 2, only because I still did want to see how it ended. And I mean, the little moments where they did, basically, that's the other thing too. It's like, I understand like paying respects, like giving homage to the Stanley Kubrick movie, but sometimes they were just fucking copying. Like it's not homage at that point. It's just lazy.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of certain parts of Halloween 2018.
Yeah, I can see that. But just because the new story was interesting enough that I wanted to see how it ended. Just for that, yeah, I'll be generous with 2.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. Like, I wanted to see how it ended. like it didn't feel like I wanted to stop the movie at any point, even though it was kind of a bad movie. The acting was kind of shit,
A lot of performances were super hammed up. Yeah.
especially from the Covenant. But
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah, I
think,
think they were probably the most like, all right, this is just silly.
yeah, I think
Kind of.
yeah, they could have done better on that part. But the two main characters, Abra and what was his name,
Danny.
Dan or Jack?
Danny. Yeah.
Danny. Yeah,
Danny.
I think
Jack
they
is
did
his
all
dad.
right.
Wasn't a bad cast. It's just I just felt like it went too slow and tried to scare you or try to lump something in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2. I'm usually more lenient, but this one not so much. All right. I guess we'll get into what DSP says. Raven, read the title.
I don't see it. It's like best how to boot a sequel.
No,
This is how you do a sequel?
says maybe the best horror sequel ever. Doctor Sleep, DSP reacts
Idiot.
movie review.
Oh yeah, maybe the best horror sequel ever.
I'm like,
High bar.
well, it probably, well, you said he watched it in chunks, right? So the movie did its job,
Mhm.
put him to sleep.
Well,
Shit.
it's like what, 7 chapters, 6 chapters?
Yeah, didn't he watch it? That would be funny if he watched a chapter a night.
I bet he did.
They're not even the chapters aren't even that long.
No, it's
But
only,
yeah,
we forgot to mention in our review, it's a 2.5 hour movie. So keep this in
2.5
mind.
hours, and so much of it
Is bullshit.
is unnecessary. Just like a Stephen King book. You
Remember,
read that
the-
300 pages and it's full of side stuff about characters that you don't even see after 1 or 2 scenes. And it's one thing when you're reading it, it's very different when you're trying to watch a movie.
Yeah. All
Right.
Let's get to this.
It's muted.
Because Parma has a engagement to go to.
The video's muted.
Oh, it's gonna go out and be stupid.
All right, well, it's a stupid intro. Who the fuck cares?
What is going on, everyone?
Oh my
Billy
God.
here, and
You know
welcome
when he
to
recorded
another
this.
movie review here on ESP React. This time,
Dude, he
it is
looks, he
Dr.
dresses
Sleep,
like
the sequel.
most of the people in the
Yes,
movie.
the sequel
Yeah.
to the very classic.
He looks like a
long-standing,
homeless dad
very
or
highly
someone that
Very
regarded
classic.
horror
just got divorced.
Very boomer.
Yeah, that I would say. Yeah.
Also, I just hate all these logos. I say movie review and then Dr. Sleep right there, and then he looks.
Then DSP reacts. I'm like, bro, we already know what channel you're on.
and movie, The Shining. Now, this month I reviewed a lot of horror movies. Do
If
me a
No one
favor, if
cares.
You've been watching all my reviews.
Yep.
Let me know what you think. Please leave a comment on this video.
They suck,
Give it a
you
like
suck.
If you enjoy it. Consider supporting it with perhaps a super thanks, because this channel really does not make a lot of revenue, because a lot of the other
Oh,
videos I put out on
God.
this channel end up
Revenue
getting
Get
delayed.
fucked.
So please consider
begging.
being
Money talk.
a member or some kind
We
of
begging.
support if you've been enjoying these reviews all month long, and always leave feedback.
Phil
Let me know what you
Burnell's
think,
The
and also
Begging.
suggestions for future reviews. Okay, now this is a very, very interesting situation. I saw The Shining many years ago, and it scared the crap out of me. I was much younger. It was one of the horror
No
movies
shit.
that I believe my father
Yeah.
Younger.
Many years ago, everyone's younger.
actually
But he
really
was
liked.
way younger.
From back in the day. He actually really likes Jack Nicholson as an actor. So I recall seeing The Shining at a much younger age than I would have seen other horror movies. And I mean, let's be honest, if you've ever seen The Shining, it's a very scary movie. It's got gore. It's got
When did this Shining
scary
come
scenes
out?
of ghosts.
Like in the 80s.
1980 or 1981.
He
Pretty
would
sure
be like
1980.
He would be like 1 years old.
No, he didn't see it in theaters, I don't think. I think he saw it still when he was younger, so like on video or something.
Okay, that makes sense. This is the way he says is like, we went to the theater. I went like, that's what he's alluding to. 1980,
maybe.
The Shining.
It's got all kinds of stuff. You know, the whole ending of the movie with Jack Nicholson chasing his family around the Outlook Hotel with an axe is one of the scariest sequences, I think, of any movie. To this day, when you watch it, his acting is superb, right? So, today, watching Dr. Sleep is pretty awesome because this is like a complete throwback and continuation to something from my childhood that used to scare me. And the thing is, for some reason, I never knew when the movie was made. Apparently, it came out in 2019. I knew the book was
Yeah.
made because I'd actually seen the book in like a grocery store. They were selling it many years ago, probably like 5 or more years ago.
Who we get in
But
the
I didn't
history
buy it or
segment.
read it. And then all of a sudden, the movie apparently got made, and I missed it. So I was really happy to hear about it. It actually was on
I might have heard of Doctor Sleep, but I had no idea like what it was, so I just like whatever.
Right.
Max
Yep.
this month. If you have, the Max app or whatever, you can watch this on the subscription service. And let me tell you something. I loved this movie. Okay, first of all, again, being a fan of the
I'm sure
original
you did.
movie and the movie being something that scared me back in the day, I didn't know how much of like a direct sequel this was going to be. Would it be a reimagining? Would it actually be a continuation of the plot? It's 100% a continuation of the plot, with the young Danny Torrance pictured here riding his big wheel through the Outlook Hotel, all grown up. You can see him at the top of the
Overlook,
poster here,
Phil.
played by
Not the
Ewan
Outlook,
McGregor,
not the Microsoft
the
Outlook
Obi-Wan from
Hotel.
the Star Wars
Jesus
prequel
Christ.
trilogy. And man, the
Overlook.
story is really cool if you're a fan of the original Shining. In fact, I'll go as far to say, although you can watch this
Ooh,
movie
no.
as a
Wrong.
standalone movie,
No.
No.
You really
no,
can't.
No,
You really
no.
can't.
No.
Are you
That's
fucking
a
kidding me?
No way.
No.
No way in hell. Oh, man.
No, you gotta watch The Shining. And you gotta understand The Shining.
This is
Like I said, like
This is a direct
2/3 of
sequel.
this fucking movie, 2/3 of this movie are like recreated or shots referencing Stanley Kubrick's version, while at the same time making on Stephen King's weird ass story. This is no. This is no standalone.
I would strongly recommend, if you've never seen The Shining, or maybe you haven't read or seen the movie recently or read the book recently, get yourself caught up, because this movie directly continues the plot lines from that story. And if you're not up on it, you may be missing out on a ton of stuff going on in the movie. I'm going to try to review this
Why
movie
do you
as
say it
best
was
I can without spoiling
Weird.
too much. The
Here we go.
Okay. We're
Premise
doing
is,
a half no
Danny is
spoilers.
all grown up. He's had quite the traumatic childhood, obviously with the events of the Shining movie at that Outlook Hotel, his father losing
Outlook, Overlook.
Microsoft Outlook Hotel. Fucking
his
idiot.
mind,
Phil.
being
Jesus.
supposedly possessed by supernatural things, dying there, and then having to be raised alone by a single mother, and also still having his supernatural powers, not understanding exactly what the Shining is. The good news is, and this is just a minor plot spoiler that you should know, if you remember,
Okay.
the groundskeeper of the Outlook Hotel, who was actually
Holy
present in
fuck.
the movie The Shining, he was the African-American gentleman who's
He-
bald. I forgot his name completely.
African-American
but
gentleman.
He's the one who introduces Danny to his shining powers in the
First of all,
movie.
not
Sad-
the fucking groundskeeper. He was the chef. The
Thank
chef.
you. I was
Phil.
gonna mention it,
You
but you did.
love food, Phil. You goddamn idiot. He was
How do
the
you-
chef.
How do you fuck that up, Phil?
Exactly.
The groundskeeper. Ugh. Oh man.
Get your facts right,
African
Phil.
American gentleman.
sadly,
Yes.
he's murdered by his father, who's possessed by demons in that first movie. He is
Possessed
now
by-
the spiritual
okay.
guide of Danny throughout his life. He has become almost like a ghostly guide, like almost like the Jiminy Cricket sitting on
Ghostly
his shoulder, and
guide.
he's Pinocchio, and he's telling him what he should and shouldn't do, that he should have a conscience.
Ugh.
That's kind of interesting to know that someone who was friendly with you in real life and had the shining power somehow became your spirit guide for the rest of your life. However, Danny has not had a good life. He has fallen into drugs. He has fallen into alcoholism, just like his father had.
Just like Phil has.
Just like some other guy with whale tail.
And his life is in shambles. The whole premise of the movie is twofold. Number one, Danny is trying to find a way to get his life together, and through the plot of the movie, he progressively does. At the same time, there is another plot line going on where someone else who has the shining contacts Danny supernaturally because they need help. Basically, number one, they want a friend because they're looking for someone else who has the shining power like he has. But number two, there's something else going on. And over the course of the movie, again, minor plot spoilers, you'll find out that there is another group of people who all have the shining power, who are seeking out other people who have the shining power, and they're doing one of two things: either forcefully indoctrinating them. I don't know why I can't speak tonight. They're forcefully indoctrinating them
You can't speak because you drank
it's-
too much.
Maybe it's the gin. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
into their own group, or get this, they're trying to systematically kill off everyone else who has the shining to somehow cannibalize their powers. So Danny's growing up, he's a mess. He runs into another person who also has the shining power, and they need help because there's this group of people out there seeking out people with the shining to absorb it and cannibalize and become powerful themselves. That's pretty crazy. Now, does that sound like a far cry from The Shining, the original movie? It does. But I will tell you something. As this movie progresses, by the way, it is very lengthy. It's about 2.5 hours long.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
For a horror movie, that's pretty darn long. This movie goes through so many acts, and I would definitely say you can tell when you watch the movie, much like when you watch any Stephen King movie. As you watch it, you realize, man, I bet the book's better, because there's certain parts in this movie that I really feel like they elaborated more on. For example, at one point, as Danny is finding himself as an adult, he takes on a job at a nursing home where he's helping people who are at the end of their lives come to grips with the fact that they're about to pass and basically be okay with that as they move into the afterlife. In fact, without spoiling, I'll tell you that's kind of why it ties into the name Dr. Sleep. If you're wondering what it means, it actually ties into that part of...
Big ass spoiler. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, it's
There you
probably in
go.
the book too, not gonna lie. I don't know.
I'm sure it is.
And I'm
Because
pretty sure
one of
it's
those-
more
yeah.
laid out in the book. Because it's
Yeah,
Stephen
like
King.
again, to an annoying degree, because
Right.
again, it's like the whole point of it being a movie is that you're supposed to like tighten it up, you know?
Yeah, and yeah, tighten up, make it more visual.
his plot line. However, this is part of the movie that's almost glossed over instantaneously. It's like maybe 5 minutes of the movie, if that. Really, it's barely ever discovered.
No, it's not. It's like 20 minutes. It happens like multiple times. He has scenes of doing his job as that. Get the fuck out of here, man.
And then he like disappears at the end. He's like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah, it's like, fuck this
Yeah.
job. Tired of tending dead people.
in the movie, yet that's the name of the movie. So when that happens, you're like, I bet in the book,
Yeah, they made it
this is
very
probably
fucking
way
clear.
more, elaborated on in a major chunk of the book. But for the movie, they just, here's what Dr. Sleep means. Let's move on. You know what I mean?
They had to cut out some parts, and that was probably one of them. But
It's like that wasn't. It was pretty fucking long. Like that was one of the things that like
I'm pretty
could
sure
have
it
been
could have
shorter.
been longer.
to establish Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, I'm pretty
know?
sure it could have been even longer if they really
Yep.
wanted to deal with that. But
It was just padding.
yeah,
So I like the movie, but I do feel like there are certain parts that maybe would have been better if you read the book. But overall, I absolutely loved the movie. I thought that Ewan McGregor did a great job. Actually, the child actress, I don't know her name, who plays one of the people in the
if you don't know her name, do some research.
movie who has the shining power, she's really good. She does a really solid job acting in this movie. I was surprised because a lot of child actors, you cringe. I didn't cringe once. I thought she was very convincing. The group of people.
I do admit, child actors back in the day were a lot more cringy, but child actors today are a lot better.
Maybe, yeah, because
Hmm.
they're more like, I think more people just have access to more movies and stuff. Like it's just easier than
Yeah, more schooling.
when a lot of other people were kids. So now they know what like good stuff looks like.
And also,
Or
when
they
the
have a better idea.
60s and 80s and 70s, that's like child actors were new. Like that was new. They worked them hard, but they really didn't know the damage now people do.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the best performances from a child actor had to be from the creator.
Yes.
people hunting people with the shining are kind of interesting because they're all very, very different. However, I will say this, there is someone who they chose to act as the leader who's called Rose the Hat.
What?
A hat.
Rose
That was her
the
name?
Hat?
I think that was the nickname in the movie. They only said it a couple of times.
I must have not
But it's
paid
just funny.
attention. Like I
Or in a
mentioned,
slash
like
hat.
I heard them saying Rosa a lot,
Mhm.
or just Rose.
I thought it was just Rose, and maybe it just like they were saying like Rose or something. I don't know.
She's supposed to be the leader of this group of people hunting people with the shining power, but I wasn't ever scared of her. Like I don't think she was ever
You're
scary.
not supposed to
I think they
be.
chose the wrong
No.
actress. I'm not saying the actress did a
Yeah,
bad
she
job.
wasn't really.
I just never found her menacing. I never found anything about her scary if she were coming after me. I don't know. You know, maybe if they found another woman who looked more evil or could act like more cruel, but this woman never really convinced me like she was a dangerous person, even though in the movie she is scripted to be. That, you know, it didn't seem like that the actor fit the role. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just miscasting. But outside of that, it's a 2.5-hour supernatural thrill ride with all kinds of stuff. Is there gore? Yes, there's gore in this movie. Are there scares and supernatural elements? Yes, there's multiple demons and ghosts and things in this movie that are quite
Yeah, there's ghosts in this movie. I'm not sure about demons, but definitely ghosts.
Yeah,
quite
I
scary.
think he's getting mixed up
And
there.
without spoiling, because the ending of the movie is actually, in my opinion, superbly done. The final act of the movie, the last 20, 30, no,
Spoiler talk. Here we go.
Nice
Mhm.
phrase, nice frame
Yes.
here. Ooh, ooh.
actually it's about the last hour, is really good. And if you're a fan of the original Shining movie or
Yes,
book,
it is
you are
major fan
absolutely
service.
gonna love the finale of this movie. That's all I'm gonna say without spoiling.
Just
But
recreating
man,
shots within
reason
the
I
thing.
really like
Okay.
this movie
Yep.
is, again, growing up having watched the original Shining and loving that movie. This movie has so many ties, returning characters. There's an actress who plays Danny's mother, originally played by Shelley Duvall in the original Shining movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can't get her back to reprise the role. She's so much older. They got a new
I don't even
actress,
know
and
if she's
the funny
alive.
part is she doesn't look like Shelley Duvall, but she acts just like her, like her mannerisms. And the way
Yeah,
she
see,
plays the
again, it was
character,
like a
you can
copy. It
tell-
was like an impression.
You
It,
can,
it was
you
like
can
somebody
tell
in a
it's an
good.
impression.
Yeah. She wasn't bad, but it's just like.
She
we
did a
could have
lot
just
better
skipped.
than the father.
We could have just like skipped having a fight. Yeah, that much is true. I'll say that. Because I mean, you can't like emulate Jack Nicholson. You know, you can emulate PlayStation games. You can't emulate Jack
You
Nicholson.
can emulate PS3 games better than Jack Nicholson.
But piracy is illegal. Just saying. Please don't cancel.
Yeah,
that's the character, even though it doesn't physically look like her
we
anymore.
totally watched this.
Totally, that's the character, dead on, nailed
Mhm.
it. And there's a bunch of returning characters and things from the original movie that come back in this one that are played by different actors, but they all do a really great job of filling in the role of that character. They are believable as the new actors or actresses of those
I
characters.
don't remember any of this
So,
movie.
2.5
Damn.
hours. It's a long movie.
Just watched
And
it.
let me tell you, yes, there are a couple parts where you're like, man, all right, maybe it could have been done a little bit different. Maybe it could have been sped up or, you know, a little bit differently. And
cut the
again,
fuck
there's other
out
parts I wish
entirely.
they had stretched
yeah,
out.
or cut out.
It's like entire character arcs just like don't even matter at the end. Like,
Right.
Well, yeah,
at least one I can think of. But
upon it and elaborate a little bit more on like the whole Dr. Sleep thing, and was fascinating, and it really didn't get a lot of screen time. But for the movie
Probably
it was,
gets book
I
time.
loved it. I'm actually angry that I didn't know this movie had come out in 2019, and here I am watching it in
angry. He's
2023. I
angry.
wish
No
I'd seen
one
it 4
told
years
him in
ago,
chat.
'cause I actually
Dr.
liked the
Sleep came
movie
out.
that
You
much.
should watch it,
This is
Phil.
actually
yeah. If that's the case, he should like. But remember, he's like, "Oh, I'm just so focused on what I do. I don't have time to do anything else." Remember that? Remember those times?
Yeah.
And
But you
this-
could literally
and-
just look and see what's playing in theaters or something.
And this was pre.
doesn't seem-
This was pre. Bankruptcy.
Oof.
So this was when he was
And
really crying
pre-bankruptcy,
for.
yeah. Woof.
in my opinion, one of my favorite kind of creepy horror thriller movies that I've seen in the last 10 years. It's that well shot and that well acted of a movie, and I'm upset that I missed it when it was new. I'm surprised I didn't even
Said
hear about
that I
it.
missed
So,
it.
Dr. Sleep, number one, if you're a fan of The Shining, it's got to be a must watch. Number two, if you're a fan of horror, if you're a fan of suspense and thrills and stuff, you'll probably love the movie. There's
Thrills and
super
chills.
creepy scenes. There's some psychological horror stuff. There's really a lot of elements to this movie. Plus great acting, great cinematography, and again, for fans of the original, there's a lot of stuff here for you. But I do strongly recommend you watch the original or read the original Shining. before you
Yeah,
watch
you
this
gotta.
movie, or you're gonna miss
Yeah.
a lot. But this is
Yeah, watch the original Shining. I don't know about reading it
I
because
think the book, well, that's the thing. It's like the book, the way that ends and the way this ends. It's like I'm not sure if like, because the thing is like Stephen King is famous for hating the Stanley Kubrick movie, for his own reasons or whatever, and so in a way it feels like he wrote this story as a way to like put a middle finger to the movie, because it's like he's correcting, quote unquote, the ending or whatever to make it more like his original ending. But the thing is, like, the way the original ends, the way the original book ends, and the way this one starts and ends, it doesn't really line up. So
yeah, so
I think, like, Phil's just wrong. Like, you should watch the Stanley Kubrick one, and then if you're interested, watch this one, because it really is a sequel more to that.
yeah, then when you're done watching those two, if you really want to know the story, read the books.
Go back and yeah.
is actually arguably of all the movies I've seen in October so far, this is my favorite one by far. Super duper good movie. Really enjoyed it, and I hope that you'll give it a look because it is a superb follow-up to the original Shining. All right? Thank you all for
No, it's
watching
not.
my review.
So our worst movie is his
Nice.
best movie.
Yep, that sounds about
This
right.
movie was
Check it
awful.
out. And again, reminder, if you could, let me know your feedback on these reviews. If you've liked them this month, if you want more of them.
Even if
you
it's
have
just for the
recommendations
algorithm.
improvement, please leave me comments, like the video if you enjoyed it, consider supporting it in some way. Thank you all. And by the way, there's one more horror review coming this month.
Oh,
And
Lord.
if you like animatronics coming to life,
Oh,
please
fuck.
tell me
like
we
it.
don't.
Oh god.
Five
We have some
Nights at
stupid-
Frederick's.
I
Is he
heard this
queuing up
movie
some dumbass
sucks.
jump scare? I'm sure it does. It doesn't.
I'll see
I
you next
hope
week.
it's better
But in
than
the
this.
meantime, stay chill, enjoy the October month, and I'll see ya for Five Nights at Freddy's very soon.
Here's the thing. That looked very
Wow.
creepy. That was creepy, and also you disrespected every time you play Friday Night at Freddy's. Every time you play this game, it's like you disrespected the first one, the whatever the.
Dude, I
the
can't wait. I can't wait for the history segment when he
He knows-
reviews the
Oh,
fucking.
He knows
God.
nothing about Five Nights at Freddy. I don't either.
Yeah.
He knows nothing about it, yet he will complain about it and shit on it forever and always.
I know it's a horror game in a abandoned Chuck E. Cheese, and there's a lot of them.
But you see, Raven, what's really important about that is that a bunch of popular sellout shill streamers
yes,
like
PewDiePie.
Markiplier and PewDiePie, they all played it, and a bunch of kids watched it. They all acted like crazy, like, oh my god, I'm not like that. I'm real. See, we're gonna get one of those.
Mhm.
This is gonna be great.
And another thing,
Fucking
whatever happened to Redfield?
Outlook
Wasn't he
Hotel.
supposed to review that?
He said only one more.
Yeah. So
Five Nights at Freddy's. I guess that got heated.
All right.
All right. Well, that was his review. What'd you guys think of his review? I already know the answer.
I hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best horror movie that he watched this
Best
year.
horror sequel. He also didn't really make a argument for why it was the best. I mean, of course, his title is
It
dumbass
just seems like
clickbait.
he's a big Shining fan, and it was fan
Sure.
servicey enough for him.
and it's like on a superficial level, it's like yes, it looks like The Shining in some parts, but in spirit, haha, pun, but like
Yeah, the
in
majority
spirit,
of the movie
it
was
misses the
something
point of
different.
what made the first one creepy. I mean, it's hard to make a sequel to something like that anyway and do a good job. But the thing is,
Yeah.
you know, it's Stephen King doing something, and who knows if it was a contractual obligation to fucking publish something or whatever. Or again, like maybe he's like, he never liked Kubrick's movie, so this was like a correction, quote unquote, for him. But yeah, just this story. Yeah, and it just wasn't. Okay, story was interesting, but
Let me ask you
didn't really
something.
amount to much, and then wasn't scary on top of that. So
Did in the original book,
Yeah.
when the dad gets possessed, did he do the boiler thing himself, or did the family
he sure
do it?
did. Or no, he did. Yeah, he did.
Okay, so it was kind of like the same thing with
Yep.
Okay, so pretty much
That's what
beat
I'm
to
saying.
beat.
Same thing. Same thing. So it's weird to read that book and then watch this movie as if the ending of the first book didn't happen. Like that wouldn't make sense.
Huh.
So I have no idea why it was done this way.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you guys for watching this dumb video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please leave a like. 100 likes, bubble blow. Leave a comment. DSP is a bitch. And any last words from the audience? I mean, the
No,
gallery
no,
before we leave.
he's a bitch.
So DSP's chat is all holding hands, staring at him through the screen, saying, "Come and play with us, Philly, forever and ever."
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right. Bye.